I'm going to read a chapter out of the fifth sacred thing. But first I'm going to do a little venting. I know I'm not really supposed to do this, but I'm just feeling it. I'm so angry right now. So my mother, who is 75 or something, she broke her hip recently. She ended up in a hospital in North Carolina. Then they transferred her to a nursing home here in Martinsville. And she's been doing pretty good, and I was seeing her twice a day. But see, my mom doesn't put any energy into her own life, so I had to make a boundary and not go see her anymore. Well, the supervisor just called me and said they're going to start charging me $8,800 a month for her stay there because her Medicaid won't cover it because she has a car in her name, which means she has property, which means Medicaid won't cover her stay there, which means it's private pay, which means it's $8,800 a month to stay at a nursing facility. So I'm left with no other choice but to go get her. So I'm bringing her home on Monday. Well, I went there to go tell her, and I don't know, last month sometime, I went in and I made wind chimes with the residents out of seashells and sticks, and they were beautiful, and the residents helped make them, and then I hung them up outside in the barbecue area. But when I came today, they have taken them down and they don't know where they are. And it's just totally disrespectful because I put a lot of energy into that, and the residents put a lot of energy into that, and they're just gone and they don't know where they are. And the guy who runs the place was just totally cocky and rude to me, and it triggered me. So I'm paying attention to my triggers. It triggered me because that's the same way I feel about my son. And I know my son is not equivalent to wind chimes, but I put so much energy into my son. He was born dead, and we worked together for years. He learned to walk, talk, eat, ride motorcycles, ski, all kinds of stuff. And then the state takes him back and kills him. It's like disrespectful. That's energy I put in, and you're just going to take it away. It's equivalent to the wind chimes. It's energy I put into them with the residents and had a good time doing it, and the residents had a good time, and you're just going to take them down and not know where they are. It's just like a big fuck you. Why are people like that? People are just disrespectful. I mean, it's just disrespectful. It's just not common courtesy. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, why would you do that? What kind of fucking low life self-esteem do you have to be so vindictive? It's bullshit. Anyway, that's it for now, as far as that goes. I need to calm down. I'm so angry. So fucking angry. But there's other good things happening too, and I'm not going to bring it up, but it has to do with my daughter. Really good news with my daughter, which I'm not going to share publicly. Because people like to ruin good things. Because there's people out there in the world who don't like to see other people doing well. And they will go out of their way to sabotage them. Whatever it takes. So I don't share my good news much anymore. Because someone out there, someone or someones are haters, and they will do whatever they can to make sure it doesn't happen. Who's talking to me? Gaming. What is this shit? Gaming. Oh, it's hi, man. How are you? I'm Brazilian. Hello. Okay, sorry. I'm going off. I'm going to read out of the fifth sacred thing. I'm good. It's hot here where I am. It's like in the 80s. My dogs are playing at the park and getting hot, and I'm going to have them stop in a minute and rest. They're going to the water bowl right now, thank God. Anyway, let's get started. So I don't know how many of you know or have been in tune with my channel long, but I've been reading this book for quite a while now, over 2 years. I just every once in a while pick it up and start reading a chapter. We're almost towards the end. It's a really good book. It's called The Fifth Sacred Thing. So if you're just tuning in, I apologize. You can check out the other videos that has the previous chapters, or you can even buy the book. It's called The Fifth Sacred Thing. It's a great book. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to dig in here. I cannot stand this, Maya said to herself. She was wandering the house, unable to settle anywhere, unable to cook or clean or tend to sick soldiers. Anyway, between Mary Ellen and Sarah, they didn't really need her. She was old and useless. Sam had work. Madrone was off somewhere healing, but all she had was the consciousness that they were losing, and her own vision was at the root of their failure. Maybe compassion could not overcome cruelty. Maybe she had been wrong to believe in that possibility, but now it was being put to the test, and here she sat, doing nothing. Nothing but sitting in stupid council meetings, listening to her grandson being attacked by idiots. No, she could not, would not stand for it. She made her way to her own room, which was free of wounded soldiers. Sam had fallen asleep on the downstairs cot, and Maya hoped he wouldn't wake or look for her. Madrone had been gone all night, and Nita was working up in the ritual room. Sarah and Mary Ellen were in the kitchen. Lou and Aviva had not yet arrived. Yes, she could do it. Now was the time, and today was the day. She closed her door. Maya put on a white dress that she had worn years before to ceremonies for the Orishas. It was very old, a thick white cotton skirt, a crushed cotton blouse that dipped to a slendering point at the waistline. Not that she needed slendering anymore. She brushed out her long silver hair and let it hang down. She wrapped a white cloak around her and took down from its peg her silver-handled walking stick, which seemed the appropriate prop in every sense of the word. She scribbled a note to Sam, another to Madrone, and left them on the bed. She peeked carefully out of her doorway. Nobody was in the hall. This was fun, in a way, like sneaking out of her mother's house when she was a kid. Quietly, she tiptoed down the stairs, tucking her cane under her arm and gripping the handrail to steady herself. Out the front door, and there she had done it. She was free. For a moment, Maya stood looking at the door of the house after she closed it behind her. Up these steps she had come so many years before to find a home with Johanna when she had tired of Mexico, of being on the run. Here she had brought Rio home. Inside these walls she had told stories to Rachel, Madrone's mother, and held tiny Bridget's hand on the steps as she first learned to maneuver her way up and down. Maybe I will return and walk back through that door, she thought. Maybe I will not. In any case, you've been a good house. You've sheltered me a long, long time, but you cannot shelter me now. She walked on. The summer gardens were parched from lack of rain, and the steam bed was dry. The soldiers must have rebuilt the dam again. Oh, whatever came of this, there would be hunger. No children played among the dry brown sticks. No one moved on the walkways except here and there, an armed khaki-dressed figure or a ghost in a white like her on a mission of haunting. The transport collective had immobilized the gondolas, and the soldiers so far had ignored the aerial transport system. Maya would have to walk downtown. That was okay. The exercise would do her good. She would take one last slow look at the city she had loved so many years. It still shone in her imagination as a place of magic, of gingerbread houses and green-topped hills and fairy spires. Goodbye, labyrinth of winding pathways. Farewell, steam and fruit trees and gardens. Adiosa, you cheerful and confident children who now scurry into your houses afraid. Perhaps you are waiting for me to free you. Perhaps you already suspect I will fail. The morning had passed by the time she reached the old stone mansion atop Knob Hill where the general made his headquarters. The house had been built as a momentum to the private wealth of one of the golden barons back in the 19th century, had become an exclusive men's club in the 20th, and after the uprising, a home for the very old where they could be cared for in peace and dignity. Maya wondered what had happened to them, who had taken them in, whether any of them were as old as she was, why she was still alive. The garden in the grounds was still green and flourishing, she noted. The gracious steps of the house were lined with ghosts, silent and patient in their white cloaks. Maya could discern that in some of the watchers' patience had hardened into apathy and desolation. Still, they waited. No one emerged. She would not wait. She mounted the steps, leaning heavily on her cane. The ghosts made way for her, one young woman leaping up and offering her arm. Maya looked into her eyes for a moment, startled, thinking they were her daughter Bridget's eyes. But no, not Bridget. Just another dark-eyed, dark-haired young woman. Bridget was dead anyway, but the ghosts should be dead, and Maya was wondering in the confusion of the old. The heavy front door was locked. She raised her cane and pounded on it. Silence. She pounded again, harder. The door opened a crack and a dark face peered out at her. "Get off the steps or we'll clear you off. You can't come in here." "You cannot keep me out," Maya said, sliding her cane into the crack and butting against the door with her shoulder. But really it was her eyes that gave her entrance. For now, she had slipped out of herself and something larger had slipped in. The Reaper. La Segadora. The old crone. The death hag. She had become the implacable one. No boy soldier could withstand her. She pushed the guard out of the way and strode down the hall. He followed after her and tried to grab her arm, but she dangled her cane between his feet and he tripped and fell hard on the marble floor. "I'm skirting the edge of nonviolence," she admitted, but while he was gathering himself up again, she pushed through a pair of imposing double doors and found herself in the general's office. The sunny room was lined with a bay window facing the north, looking out over the water to Mount Tamalpais across the bay. That's where I grew up. I grew up at the feet of Mount Tamalpais, the sleeping princess. The general sat behind a large oak desk, his feet on a faded but still beautiful oriental rug. 3 of his staff stood at loose attention around him. Maya pounded her cane on the floor and the general turned and stared. With his soft belly hidden behind the desk, he appeared to be a soldier, edifice of muscular flesh. Topped by straw-colored hair cropped short, he peered up at her with small eyes and hard as a buckshot. "What in the Satan's name is this? How the hell did she get in here?" "Sir," the breathless soldier from the hallway began, but the general motioned him to be silent. He rose from his desk and came over to Maya, towering over her. "Who the Jesus are you?" Maya opened her mouth to say something reasonable, but what came out seemed to come through her from somewhere else. "Your death," Maya said. "I am what you have always resisted and what you come to in the end. I am your fate. My fate is to exterminate the sinners who corrupt this world." How much taller than she, but suddenly her eyes seemed on a level with his. A voice poured through her, spilling out over him. "Your fate is in your blood and bones, where every person's fate lies. Your fate is right here, arisen before your very eyes. I stand face to face with you." "Who are you?" the general said again. "I am what you cannot escape. The gray in your hair, the lines on the back of your hand. I am the Reaper, the reckoning, the consequences of your actions. Clench tight your hopes, and I will pry loose your grip. I am your destination." She was a vessel for the voice as a steam bed channels water that comes from some greater source, high and far away. I am fate and chance, your chance to rise to the great opportunity you have here. Yes, I see who you are and who you might be. Your ancestors cluster around of you. One of them is a small boy who watches as the inquisitors drag his mother off, strip her naked in the public square, prick her with needles, searching for devil marks, rape her, burn her alive. Yes, I see his eyes as he watches the flesh that meant his comfort and food crackle and char, as the hands that soothed him blacken. I see him wear that pain as armor, grow into it until it becomes his skin. And now he is a grown man in a faraway place, Africa. He is here on La Gorée. Do you know that name? The Last Door, they call it. An island through which all slaves pass on their way out of the continent. And here he is, your illustrious forefather, in the rape room, violating a black woman while her own small boy is forced to watch. Maybe he leaves his seed in her, seed of pain that grows in her belly and somehow survives, the middle passage through hell to be born. Not your ancestor, that one, but the father of fathers of someone else. One of these men here, maybe, or my own grandson. And the woman is able to love the child as women do love because she understands that what has been planted in her is the pain of a child, until this one too is torn away from her. Oh, it is awesome what human beings are capable of doing to each other and surviving. So many women harboring seeds of pain, nurturing, bringing them to birth so those offspring can act their pain on some other woman's body. And always, always with one hope that somehow, someday, this will change. Someone will refuse to pass the pain on any longer. Who knows? Maybe you are that person. The general was staring at her transfixed. Pain forms a man, he said, or breaks him. A man is not made until he has been broken. Then he seemed to shake himself awake again. What is your name? Maya took a deep breath. The reaper deserted her, and she was just a woman again, old and small. She drew herself up to her full height and spoke with dignity. Maya Greenwood. Aha! The writer. I wasn't aware my reputation still survived in the Southlands. I once had the pleasure of burning a number of your books. A fan, Maya said. I'm flattered. You intrigue me, the general said. What did you hope to achieve coming to me like this? Did you expect to win me over with your blasphemous babbling? I would have thought Maya Greenwood was smarter than that. I come to warn you, Maya said. Although her voice felt old and tremulous, you cannot win here. The general laughed. Your grandson wouldn't agree with you. He seems to think we can't lose. Now, old bitch, now would be a good moment for divine possession to strike. But Maya remained empty. Still, I won't beg him or plead with him to let me see my grandson. I have come to share his ordeal, Maya said. That can be arranged, the general gestured to his guards. Lock her up, but don't work her over. Her heart might go out on us, and I've got a special use for her. Maya sat down on the rug. There is a place set for you at our table if you will choose to join us, she said as the soldiers dragged her away. The room they locked Maya in had once been an office. It still held a desk, if not a bed or a chair, and she perched on it, swinging her legs. There was no toilet, but perhaps she would use one of the drawers as a waste bucket when the need arose. They had left her water and a hunk of bread, but she would not touch their food. No, she would close her eyes and drift. She was close to Bird now. Surely she would reach him now. But she did not reach Bird, only Johanna, who stood with her hands on her hips, observing Maya disapprovingly. This is a fine predicament you've landed yourself in, Johanna said. Now, Johanna is a ghost, just so you know. I had to do it, Maya said. No, you didn't have to. You wanted to. Goddess only knows why. Some unresolved Jewish guilt complex, maybe. You just can't wait to come on over to our side, can you? Asked Rio, who appeared behind her, another ghost. I'm sorry you made them tear down the jail after the uprising, Maya told him. I could have been locked up in a real cell that had a bunk bed and a toilet. If it's creature comforts you were interested in, you should have stayed home where you had a nice comfy bed and someone to warm it for you, Rio said. Jealous? Maya asked. Huh. Anyway, you know how it is, Maya said. When you get all fired up to commit some brave political act and you feel invulnerable for a while, like you'll never care about food or sleep again. But then it wears off, leaving you mourning for your bathtub and a hot tea kettle. Maya, we're here with you, Rio said, whatever happens. Suddenly, she was very afraid. Really, I've been afraid all along, she admitted. But what a good job I've done convincing myself that I wasn't. Goddess, what have I done to myself? What have I done to Bird? What's going to happen? She wailed. What's going to happen to me? Oh, you're going to die, of course, Johanna said. Eventually. I mean now, what's going to happen now? Now you're going to get some sleep, Johanna said. See if you can curl up on that desk and don't let your Gandhi complex keep you from drinking some of that water. What do you mean she's gone? Sam said. Where did she go? Suddenly he looked every bit of his 80-some years. His face crumpled and he gripped Madrone's shoulder with a shaky hand. She left us notes, Madrone said, trying to keep her voice calm. I guess she slipped out this morning while I was over at Lily's and you were asleep on the cot. But that was hours ago, Sam protested. How could I have not noticed that she wasn't here? They were standing in the kitchen where Mary Ellen continued chopping greens for supper. I didn't notice either, Madrone admitted. I came home and fell asleep. There were dozens of people here. I didn't realize she wasn't one of them. It wasn't until I went to get her dinner that I saw the notes. Let me see, Sam said. He grabbed his note from Madrone, but his hand was shaking and his eyes were tearing. Read it to me. Dear Sam, Madrone said. I've gone to haunt the general. Don't get in a flap. It's what I'm called to do, for better or worse. And the worst will be that they will kill me. And really, Sam, at my age, death can scarcely be seen as premature. I do love you. You've been a great comfort to me in a terrible time, and whatever world I'm in, I'll always thank you. I regret leaving you alone. Forgive me, and please try to understand. Love, Maya. It's suicide, sheer bloody stupid suicide, Sam began to cry. Madrone held him and soothed him, but she was crying herself. I loved her, Madrone. I really loved her. I know, Sam. And if they find out Bird's her grandson, don't think about it, Sam. There's no point in torturing yourself. She's gone now. We're just going to have to let her go. Or follow her with magic, not with worries. Oh, she could sound so wise and cool. Lie down a bit, Sam. Rest until supper. I'll do some magic for her. Will you? I will, right now. You rest. Madrone went out to the back garden of the Black Dragon house. Unlike the front gardens, the back was still mostly green, although weeds choked the vegetable beds. Honeybees buzzed around the blue stars of prickly borage. Only the lawn was dead, and she lay down on the brown, dry grass and closed her eyes, concentrating. Okay, well, the stream was interrupted. The phone got too hot. I don't know when it got turned off, so I had to go sit in my car. My dogs are resting. I don't know how I'm going to set this up. I'll figure it out. Okay, just hold it, I suppose. And I don't know where I got lost from, but let's see. Let's see back. Trying not to be irritated right now. Okay, it's super hot here today. Oh, hey, what's up? Love bug. Yes, I'm at the dog park with the dogs in the middle of this book here. Let's see. We're dark in the... Where did I leave off? Oh boy. Not here. Come on. Here we are. No, not that one. This one? What the fuck did I leave off? I'm sorry, you guys. What the hell? No. It's like towards the end of the book. Let me see here. Here we go. Found it. Now, I think I'm left off on this page, so I'm just going to start from this page. Okay, I came to warn you, Maya said, although her voice felt old and tremulous. You cannot win here. The general laughed. Your grandson wouldn't agree with you. He seems to think we can't lose. Now, old bitch, now would be a good moment for the divine possession to straight strike, but Maya remained empty. Still, I won't beg him or plead with him to see my grandson. I have come to share his ordeal, Maya said. That can be arranged, the general gestured to his guards. Lock her up, but don't work her over. Her heart might give out on us, and I've got a special use for her. Maya sat down on the rug. There is a place set for you at our table if you will choose to join us, she said as the soldiers dragged her away. The room they locked Maya in had once been an office. It still held a desk, if not a bed or a chair, and she perched on it, swinging her legs. There was no toilet, but perhaps she would use one of the drawers as a waste bucket when the need arose. They had left her water and a hunk of bread, but she would not touch their food. No, she would just close her eyes and drift away and drift. She was close to Bird now. Surely she would reach him now. She did not reach Bird, only Johanna, who stood with her hands on her hips, observing Maya disapprovingly. And Johanna is a ghost. This is a fine predicament you've landed yourself in, Johanna said. I had to do it, Maya said. No, you didn't have to do it. You wanted to. Goddess only knows why. Some unresolved Jewish guilt complex, maybe. You can't wait to come on over to our side, can you? Said Rio, who appeared behind her, also a ghost. I'm sorry you made them tear down the jail after the uprising, Maya told him. I could have been locked up in a real cell that had a bunk bed and a toilet. If it's creature comforts you were interested in, you should have stayed home, where you had a nice comfy bed and someone to warm it for you, Rio said. Jealous? Maya asked. Ha! Anyway, you know how it is, Maya said, when you get all fired up to commit some brave political act and you feel invulnerable for a while, like you'll never care about food or sleep again, but then it wears off, leaving you mourning for your bathtub and a hot tea kettle. Maya, we're with you, Rio said, whatever happens. Suddenly she was very afraid. Really, I've been afraid all along, she admitted, but it was a good job I've done convincing myself that I wasn't. Goddess, what have I done to myself? What have I done to Bird? What's going to happen, she wailed. What's going to happen to me? Oh, you're going to die, of course, Johanna said. Eventually. I mean now, what's going to happen now? Now you're going to get some sleep, Johanna said. See if you can curl up on that desk and don't let your Gandhi complex keep you from drinking some of this water. What do you mean she's gone? Sam said. Where did she go? Suddenly he looked every bit of his 80-some years. His face crumpled and he gripped Madrone's shoulder with a shaky hand. She left us notes, Madrone said, trying to keep her own voice calm. I guess she slipped out this morning while I was over at Lily's and you were asleep on the cot. But that was hours ago, Sam protested. How could I have not noticed that she wasn't here? They were standing in the kitchen where Mary Ellen continued chopping greens for supper. I didn't notice either, Madrone admitted. I came home and fell asleep. There were dozens of people here. I didn't realize she wasn't one of them. It wasn't until I went to get her for dinner that I saw the notes. Let me see, Sam said. He grabbed his notes from Madrone, but his hand was shaking and his eyes were tearing. Read it to me. Dear Sam, Madrone said, I've gone to haunt the general. Don't get in a flap. It's what I'm called to do, for better or worse. And the worst will be that they kill me. And really, Sam, at my age, death can scarcely be seen as premature. I do love you. You've been a great comfort to me in a terrible time, and whatever world I'm in, I'll always thank you. I regret leaving you alone. Forgive me, and please try to understand. Love, Maya. It's suicide, sheer bloody stupid suicide, Sam began to cry. Madrone held him and soothed him, but she was crying herself. I loved her, Madrone. I really loved her. I know, Sam. And if they find out that Bird's her grandson, don't think about it, Sam. There's no point in torturing yourself. She's gone now. We're just going to have to let her go. Or follow her with magic, not with worries. Oh, she could sound so wise and cool. Lie down a bit, Sam. Rest until supper. I'll do some magic for her. Will you? I will, right now. You rest. Madrone went out into the back garden of Black Dragon House. Unlike the front gardens, the was still mostly green, although weeds choked the vegetable beds. Honeybees buzzed around blue stars of prickly borage. Only the lawn was dead. And she lay down on the brown, dry grass and closed her eyes. Concentrating on her breath, she slipped back into her mind. She saw, where Sierra is. She saw not the world of visual form as she knew it, but a multifaceted prism of light and shade, and intertwined with streaks of color. Traces of scent bombarded her in the heady clarity of barrage. The perfume of the rose and the pungent pineapple sage. She could get lost in the twining, trailing scents drifting in for miles. How tempting to pick one and follow it, track to a particular sweetness to its source, return to the hive and dance to directions. Nothing happened in words or even pictures, exactly, but more as in over images and smells and movements and feelings, like the body sense of magnetic north. Feelings of rightness and wrongness, and yes, as she approached the hive, disturbance, a buzz of fear and alarm. This was nothing they had ever known. Madrone excluded a calming smell, not the queen's smell, which might trigger competition with her own queen, but something just enough akin to it, that the bees relaxed. She was not a threat. Under their immediate distress was a deeper sense of alarm. Things were not right. Gardens they counted on were dying. So many of the flowers were gone, withered up early, dried on the vine. Everywhere they smelled fear and pain. Madrone let the honey of her body well up into the bee spot and began to speak to them. A speech of projected visions and pheromones, molecular scents on the air. Slowly they gathered, touching, tasting, until her body was covered with crawling bees. Help us, she said, and we will grow the green, well-watered gardens again. Let the barrage run rampant, dance for you in summertime. You are part of our powers, our forgotten powers. Help us, please, sisters, help us. Bird had been alone in the dark with the dead for so long that he was no longer sure he was alive. They had taken him back to his dark, bare room, where time no longer passed, but left him marooned in a vacuum without gravity. Occasionally his body intruded itself with its pain, its hungers, its need to relieve itself. At intervals the door was opened, something resembling food was pushed in. The bucket of his wastes was replaced. Once in a while he tried to remember his muscles, to keep them functioning and exercise, but he was too weak to sustain activity for long. Mostly he drifted, conversing with ghosts until the slender cord of vital energy that held him to his body stretched thin and fragile and frail. He was lost not only in his pain, but the shadowy pain of multitudes of others, awash in guilt and fear and despair that he could no longer separate. Ghosts spoke to him, telling tales of their suffering. You conjured us up, they seemed to say. Now listen, this is how it was when the slaves came to my village, when the Nazis broke down the door and took us off to the camps, when the whites broke our temples and sent us to mines, when everything we knew and cared about was destroyed. Listen to us, feed us, carry our pain. Hold on. Get over here now! Sierra, fat boy! Just went running after a cat, little fuckers. Get back here! Should have seen my tail. They run in unison. It's kind of poetic looking. No, I have nothing to feed you. I can't carry my own pain, let alone the weight of all yours. Oh God, do I know that? Diosa, I have too many ancestors. One history of oppression would be enough to inherit. Leave me alone. Then listen to us. We are your ancestors too. I sold my daughter to the slaves. I loaded the cattle cars. I smashed the temples of the heathens. I applied the lash. I raped. We are your ancestors. We are the unquiet dead. Feed us, heal us, listen to our stories, or we will feed on you. Go ahead, eat me, kill me, let me have some peace. Maybe he was already dead, caught in the hell of the millennialists warned of. Familiar, it was so familiar, this place, as if he'd already spent years and years here, eternity. Often he couldn't clearly remember who he was and what he had done to merit this punishment. He had been weak, he had been betrayed. He had betrayed something, he thought, but he was not clear what or how or why, or if he could have resisted, or whose nightmare he was trapped in. And there were hell worlds after hell worlds to be lost in, too many of them, the underside of the last 5,000 years of history, and he could find no way out because he'd given in and accepted the power of the killers. No, we want you to sing for us, speak for us, redeem our lives. The ghosts clamored, victims and victimizers, their voices intertwined. But I can't even redeem my own. I have no voice left, and I am going to die defeated. Then we have no hope. No hope, no hope, no hope. It was in his brain like a tuneless song. Having no hope, he felt no fear. And that was a small relief. Even when he thought of Rosa, what did it matter? Ultimately, what happened to her? She would be just one more victim among legions of the dead. I tried. I wasn't strong enough. You see, Maya, it's not a good reality or a bad reality. It's el mundo de la fuerza, the reality of brute force that is stronger than all our magic. Oh, Lily, it was a noble attempt. Fight on the landscape of consciousness, you said, but the body is too damn vulnerable, and we cannot win. We cannot win. Yes, hi Ivy, love you too, hun. Yeah, Fat Boy and Sierra were just running after a cat, and they were running in unison. It was kind of adorable, but they didn't get the cat, don't worry. So that was the last of that chapter. I'm going to read the next one some other time. Everyone have a good evening. I'm going home where it's cool. Bye.